First of all, I really wanted to ask you, what is the focus of the LEP bin this year?
Well, thank you. Before I answer that question, welcome to everybody this morning, and it's great to see so many here. I believe this is the biggest number of registrations we've had at our annual LEP conference, so welcome. I hope you take at least 3 things away from today. Firstly, I hope you're about to find out about the work of the LEP, and that will continue through the day. Secondly, with our keynote speaker and with exhibitions outside, understanding what the workforce of the future might be like. And thirdly, of course, is the fantastic networking opportunities that hopefully you will all engage in over the course of this morning and over lunch. Maybe I should also just step back about before I say what the themes of the LEP or what the work of the LEP's been over the last year is really just to remind people what the LEP is about. Its vision is to improve the economic situation of both the county, Greater Lincolnshire and Rutland, and of course the people that live there. And as a county, we are, at Greater Lincolnshire, we are the second biggest county in England. We're really quite dispersed in terms of our population. We're absolutely vital to really the success of the UK, at least in 4 ways. Food security, security of energy supply, security of the supply chain, and security of the country. And collectively, the LEP has been working on really trying to enforce those really 4 major things that we as a county really are active in. And I think that there have been really 4 main themes that we've been looking at. Firstly is to invest and help those major sectors really improve. Secondly is to help the economic recovery post-COVID and other events that have happened, so particularly with our SMEs and micro businesses across the county. Third is really to work really hard, understanding internationally the value of Greater Lincolnshire and Rutland to the UK and to the world so we can attract inward investment. And lastly, and sorry I put this last because actually without this we can't do the other 3, is we've been working on building the LEP team so that they can actually help us achieve the 3 things I mentioned above. So a long answer to your very simple question. Apologies.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to delve into some of those areas that you've just mentioned now. So the Greater Lincolnshire LEP is really known for the UK Food Valley. So can you tell me a little bit more about some of the important developments that have happened this year on UK Food Valley?
Yeah, well, Sarah Louise Fairbairn, I don't think here this morning is leading our food board, which has a range of business leaders that are helping us really develop that food valley. And of course, we are absolutely vital to the supply of or looking at part of food security and food supply in the UK. It's about a 2.5 billion business. We've created about 7,000 jobs over the recent while. We're producing maybe a third of the vegetables grown in the UK, and slightly more than that, food that's consumed in the UK actually travels through Lincolnshire. So the food valley is absolutely vital to the UK. With my other hat on, with the University of Lincoln hat on, collectively with the LEP and with our agri-food technology, we've raised about £16 million into the sector over the last 12 months. The National Centre for Food Manufacturing in Holbeach is doing a lot of work in terms of ensuring that the manufacturing of food can reduce its carbon footprint. And the work that's going on in Holbeach, we're trying to now reproduce up in Grimsby, where 70% of the UK's seafood is processed. So an awful lot going on, vitally important to the employment of people both in the county, but also the supply of food into the UK.
Thank you. I think UK Food Valley, we launched UK Food Valley at this conference last year. We've got an exhibition area for UK Food Valley when you just go into the entrance hall. So please go and speak to the team there if you want to know more about UK Food Valley and the work that's been going on. It really has been really has catapulted and gone from strength to strength. A large number of inward investment inquiries and a large number of innovation programs. So we're going to flip over, I suppose, effectively and go to another big sector within Lincolnshire, and that is the energy sector, the low-carbon energy sector. So
Yep.
Can you tell us about some of the work that's happened?
Yeah, well, again, energy, the county's position in energy is immense. I believe about 25% of the energy produced in the UK is either produced in Greater Lincolnshire or comes onshore in Greater Lincolnshire. We have the Freeport up in the north of the county, which has been set up really to help the supply chains into energy. We've got the world's largest wind farm, Hornsea, just off Grimsby. So actually really important in terms of the current energy supply. But also the Energy Board, led by Sean Povey of Siemens, is actually helping understand how we can transition from our current supply. And of course, we have a great amount of renewable energy coming in off the wind farms, but also what we're going to do in anabolic digestion, what are we going to do in terms of hydrogen, what might we do as a county in terms of nuclear. So again, trying to bring in inward investment into the county, but also then working to really ensure we have energy security within the UK.
Thank you. One of the other sectors that we have launched this year and done a lot of work on, led by Julian Free of the University and Alison Ballard at BAE, is the defence cluster.
Yep.
So what have we achieved this year in terms of the defence cluster?
Well, it's been a relatively new thing that we've been achieving as a cluster, but of course the county has had a long history in the defence and security of the nation, particularly since the Second World War. We have some big bases and security within the county. But I think one of the two or three big things have happened. One is we actually have created this network of SMEs and primes actually working across the county and into the East Midlands. But one of the big things they did this year was go to DSI conference. I think Europe's, if not the world's, major sort of defence conference down at the Excel Centre in London, where as a region we put on a stand. And I think one of the unique things about that was actually it was a collaboration not just between the LEP, between industry, but also was one of the only stands that actually had a sort of research and education element, with the University of Lincoln also being part of that stand. So small beginnings, but it's really accelerated fast, and I expect, and there are people out in the display at SRC are outside, and we're going to get some input a bit later on this morning from SRC, really sort of talking about what we are doing in the world of defence and a growing sector for Lincolnshire.
Thank you. So then lastly on sectors, there are so many other sectors across Greater Lincolnshire that we support with mainstream programmes, be that skills, be that business support, finance, investment, innovation, etc. But within the LEP we have 3 other boards that have been active during the year. So we have a health and care board, we have a visitor economy board, and we have a manufacturing board. So just quickly, kind of what are the areas of which they've been focused on this year?
The healthcare board, maybe I should let Nikki talk about it when she's on the stage in a few minutes. I don't want to take away her thunder. The manufacturing board, I think what we've been doing there particularly is working with Innovate UK. We just had a £20 million grant that's helping SMEs, particularly in their productivity and the use of data in their manufacturing processes. So a lot of work going on there. The visitor economy, as I said earlier, we are have relatively dispersed population across the county, which means there's an awful lot of open space. That open space is rather beautiful. We're, given the historic nature of the county, we've got some fantastic visitor attractions, and of course within our urban areas we have some fantastic SMEs and other businesses actually providing services for the visitor economy. But the big thing that's going on at the moment is trying to ensure that we can get visitor economy partnership status through Destination Lincolnshire, so that actually we can attract more funds into the county to actually promote it as a place for people to visit, and of course that has a huge job creation opportunities for the county as well.
Thank you. For any of the kind of businesses and partners here that are interested in the work that we've been doing on sectors, then either go to the LEP stand or go to the Business Lincolnshire Growth Hub stand. And Neal was referring to the Made Smarter manufacturing programme. So if you're a manufacturing business of any particular kind, please go along to the Business Lincolnshire stand and kind of get connected there. We're really proud to have led on economic growth and supporting businesses for the last 7 years across Greater Lincolnshire. And this year we launched 2 specific funds around the labour market, so very topical subject around skills in the workforce and clean energy. Why do you think these programmes are so important, Neal?
Well, I think we're going to see some of that as the day progresses, is we have to ensure we have the right skills in the county, that we have the right workforce that can provide for the organisations that are in the room here and beyond. We've helped over 26,000 businesses over the recent, I think the last 6 years, £5.5 million in grants. We've just had a huge offshore renewable energy 5G catapult up in the north of the county with a working wind farm, which I've already mentioned, and a working port and 5G technology, so that we can actually understand the use of data and 5G in actually ensuring that the wind farms are working as effectively as possible, and the learning that we're going to have in that catapult will actually help us grow the wind farm opportunities both here in Lincolnshire, across the UK and across the world. I think some of the other labour market interventions we've had, the market support, helping us train all the way from HGV drivers, which are needed in our logistics supply chains, particularly to move the food around the county and beyond, and how we can help automate businesses. So a lot of effort going into to produce those skills that are needed for the workforce of the future, which I think we'll be talking about later on today. So an awful lot going on, and wouldn't help without, I think, with the work of my colleagues in the LEP, and of course the grants that we've been able to attract to help that.
Thank you. Turning to the economy, this year's been, and for a number of years, it's been a difficult economic climate for businesses and partners to work in. Cost of living and particularly interest rate rises have impacted businesses. So we've had 4 interest rate rises this year. Despite this, Greater Lincolnshire has actually performed fairly well in terms of its economic performance over the last time period. And actually we're really proud, we should all be proud here, that we've had the highest rate of growth post-pandemic of any LEP in the country. And what are your thoughts on this? What are the ingredients that have helped kind of make this post-pandemic growth?
Well, it's really great that we've seen that growth, and we are accelerating faster than regions across the rest of the UK, but we are still behind in productivity with respect to the rest of the UK. And if we had the same productivity as the rest of the UK, the county would be an economy of about £5 billion bigger than it currently is. So there's still a long way to go. But how have we achieved this? Well, I think it's because we've been investing in the 4 sectors I've already mentioned, and they're all very high growth sectors. We're also a county which has a higher rate or higher proportion of SMEs than most parts of the UK. We've been working hard to help those SMEs innovate. We've got some really fantastic owners, founders, operators of these companies. And again, that's helping us see acceleration in growth in wages and in productivity and in GVA.
Thank you. So many partners here today may know that core government funding is part of how the LEP works. And for many years, we've had core government funding to help support the core team of the LEP. You may be aware that from next financial year, this core government funding will cease, and that the preferred model for the future is for LEPs to integrate into a local authority. You may also be aware that there is a potential for devolution, a mayoral combined authority, for devolution to come to Greater Lincolnshire in the near future. Therefore, locally, the LEP and partners and local authorities really need to work together to ensure that there is a business voice long into the LEP's future within a combined authority. So, Neal, just reflecting on those change, I suppose, in the financial model, what is your view of the future for the LEP?
Well, thank you. Yes, and we are in a bit of turbulence. The LEP's been going for 11 years. I've only been chair for 6 months. 1 week after I was asked whether I'd take over the chair, the government announced they weren't going to fund LEPs anymore. I don't know whether those two things are related, but what we have to do is work out how the LEP does integrate into a local authority or into the combined mayoral authority if it happens. The good thing is that the four Tier 1 authorities, Rutland, Lincolnshire County Council, North East Links, North Links, are all very supportive of the LEP. I said I've only been here 6 months, but the 10.5 years before that, the LEP has shown how important it's been to the county to actually help the economic growth, and I think we can evidence that through all the stats, many of which are in the report that's on your table. So we have been successful. I think the local politicians believe we can still be successful. We have a number of things to work through for that transition, but I'm very hopeful that the LEP may not be called a LEP in 2 years' time, maybe an economic advisory panel of the mayor if there's one that's elected. But the work that the businesses have been doing across the county are really important, and the way the LEP has been able to corral that effort, help seek external funding and to help the economy grow has been fantastic. So I think there is a bright future. It won't look quite the same as we have now, but it will be, I think, very important to those people in the room and beyond.
Thank you. I think, so the summary of that, I suppose, is that we are going through a period of change. We're still here, it's still business as usual, but our future is very heavily aligned to devolution, and potentially devolution would bring even more opportunities in terms of new money, powers and opportunities for Greater Lincolnshire. So you'll be relieved to know that we're coming up to the last question now, Neal. Okay. So before we wrap up, what are the highlights, I suppose, of your first 6 months in the post, and what is your message to delegates that have turned out in their hundreds today?
Okay, thank you. Yes, as in the introduction, it was announced that I started as the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lincoln 2 years ago. I'm not a native of the county, I'm not a yellow belly, but here I am. And 6 months ago, I was asked if I would take over the chair of the LEP. So I'm really fortunate to be in charge or chair of two of the major actors in the system that are really essential for the economic growth of the county. The university was founded because the county felt that it needed higher education if it was going to be a successful county. Before 1996, there was no university in this rather large county, and now we have one. The LEP, also, as we've talked about in terms of the economic growth, what I think, both when I first arrived and also taking over on the LEP, is just how aligned we are as a county on the things where we know we can make a difference. The fact going back to the beginning, we're very much involved in energy security, food security, supply chain security, security of the country. And through the innovation that we're also seeing in our SMEs, we really can actually help grow the economic success, the cultural success, the social success and cohesion of the county. And that's really what's impressed me most, is the fact that we are all aligned. I think most people in this room, I hope they're a receptive audience, believe what I've said is that we are aligned to actually take this county to be even greater. Greater is in the title here, but we can be even greater than we currently are. So I'll go back to what I said at the beginning about the delegates here. Please take this time to network. Please take this time to discuss what the workforce of the future will be like, and please take the opportunity to see around the demonstrations out the back door there, and continue to drink coffee, eat the pastries, and enjoy talking to each other. And thank you very much for all attending this morning.